Hello and welcome to episode 24, part 2 of the Community Trail Running Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Lee. Thank you for joining me once again. So many podcasts out there, and I so appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me. As mentioned, today is part 2, as part 1 was with Sandra Riches of BC AdventureSmart. She's the executive director, and part 2 is that interview continued on and finished. It was great. Part 1 was all about what AdventureSmart is and what they see some common mistakes that all of us are making out in the backcountry, the treasure trove of data that has led to, and where they are today. So that was great. Click on it, get back if you need to catch up. Apparently a lot of you do not need to catch up, as it was the most downloaded episode in its first week that I've had so far. So thank you all. You're all amazing. I really appreciate the support. Today, part 2 will be getting ready for winter and finishing up with some other great tips from Sandra. So check it out here in just a moment after a little bit of housekeeping, which is the Dear Abby is still open. Get your questions in. We'll get some good answers for you, I promise. And you're obviously spreading the word. Thank you all so much. If you can continue to do that, I'd appreciate it. On the next long run, or whoever you chat with about running, bring it up. If they've heard of it, that's great. I'd be so excited. And if they haven't, tell them all about it. And let's just keep growing. And speaking of growing, next week I'm going to do a little bit of navel gazing, a little bit of a different episode, because it's been one whole year here on Substack. So I'm going to do a little bit of a glimpse behind the curtain, tell you all about kind of what goes into the post and the podcasts, maybe mention a few favorite moments from the year so far, and get into a few anyway, nerdy inside baseball stats about the podcast, about the newsletter and downloads and views and all that good stuff. So that will be next Monday, November 7th. I hope you'll join me for it. A little bit of a unique episode, but today it's episode 2 from Sandra's interview. As mentioned, this is picking up partway through an interview. Sandra's just speaking about making sure we have a good plan, and if we don't, we learn from our mistakes.
You want that list to be a good one, a thorough one, a pre-planned one. And I take no matter what, because I often then will go back and educate. Lots happens on social media, as we know, chitter chatter after an incident. Let's say a subject's missing, they get rescued, they're brought home. Then we get all the chitter chatter that goes on, positive and negative, right? There's always an opportunity to learn from an incident that was a full 100% accident, or they made some mistakes in their planning and they didn't actually do any of the 3 T's, let's just say as one example. There's an opportunity to learn from that too, for the subject, for sure, or subjects, and everyone else who's read or seen the story. So maybe someone wouldn't think, oh man, I never thought about taking a utility tool. That's awesome. They didn't have one, so they couldn't start a little fire or apply first aid or cut some kindling to make a fire. I'm going to put one in my pack. So if someone's able to do that because someone else made an error in that case, that's still a win, isn't it? There's an opportunity to learn there.
Every opportunity to learn is a good thing as long as we take it, that's for sure. I'm wondering if you have any more teaching opportunities for me as we get ready for winter, maybe some winter preparation as we get ready for our coldest season.
Yeah, if it gets here, isn't it? This fall has been, I went for a night ride the other day on my mountain bike, and it just felt like I was in summer. It was just amazing. It was so great. Winter will come. We know it, whatever form that will be. And this is a great time to think about that and prepare. We talk a lot about that pre-trip planning, that in-depth pre-trip planning, our trail specific safety videos that you mentioned. Jump into that, right? And it's some really great detail, and allow you to watch a video that allows you to see what the trail looks like, feels like. We talk about the 3 T's, leaving a trip plan, communication devices. And gets you thinking, gets the gears moving, right? So as we think of winter, we can do exactly the same thing. Let's say you're a trail runner and maybe winter comes and now you're putting on micro spikes or snowshoes. And you're going to head up to a peak that you ran to in the summer, but now you're going to snowshoe or spike up. And you still need to apply those 3 T's.
Mm-hmm.
What's on top of winter, on top of all of that I just mentioned, is our winter awareness, situational awareness for winter conditions. So people might think, okay, I can head up in my great hikers or hiking boots. I don't need micro spikes or snowshoes. The trail's packed. I'm fine. Not the case. Always good to have some type of traction more than just a shoe. Micro spikes and crampons are awesome for that. Knowing how to use them safely, uphill, downhill as well, is key. Snowshoes as well. So that can all fall into that training category, our second T. So knowing what gear you should have for the season upcoming, that can include layering of clothing, which is synthetic and not cotton, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
Having extra essentials for that winter travel. And really understanding that if we're heading into, let's say, easily accessible backcountry, which is easily done throughout the Lower Mainland, the Sea to Sky Corridor, Whistler, North Vancouver, throughout the valley even, is we need to have those 3 extra pieces for winter, and that's an avalanche transceiver, shovel, and probe. But the kicker is you need to know how to use those 3 pieces to be efficient and effective if you need to help someone or they need to help you. That's where Avalanche Canada comes in, offers amazing through their providers, AST courses, avalanche skills training, and allows you to get equipped, in addition to a wealth of their resources on their website. And I really plug them in winter because they're the experts for avalanche awareness. They're the same age as us, started the same way. They're 18 years young. And they have everything you need for winter travel, no matter your activity. So we're big supporters of each other, and I'll be on one of their upcoming webinars here, and I'll be talking about trip planning as we all kick off winter together.
Well, fantastic! You guys are like cousins or something like that. Both the cousin or companies.
I like that. I like that. I've never heard that, but that's how I'm going to describe us from now on. Yes, as our cousins, industry cousins.
Industry cousin. There we go. Perfect. It's been 18 years, as you said. There's been lots of exciting stuff along the way. Is there anything coming up that you're particularly excited for?
Yeah, so COVID shifted all of us, hadn't it? So
Of
it's
course.
really made us pivot in so many different directions, and we're included in that. And so we went online where most of our outreach was face to face before. It was at trailheads and ski hills and in schools and workplaces, outdoor events, indoor events, but they were all face to face. As so many of us have, we
Mm.
shifted to online in addition to those events. And so as we've done summer, winter, summer, winter, summer, we have a list of some really great webinars coming up, kicking off beginning of December. And we're going to have some special guests come on from the search and rescue community. So you can hear from those first responders who will be ready 24/7 to help you. But you'll hear from them in their advice and perspectives on how you can get ready for winter, in hopes of not ever seeing them. Like we hope, we say this respectfully, that you never see any of those 3,000 volunteers. Like ideally, they don't want to meet you. You don't want to meet them in the best world case scenario. However, they're great people. Don't get me wrong. You do want to meet them in another sense, and you do want to meet them if you need help because they're amazing and trained and skilled and highly professional, unpaid professionals. So we're going to kick off the season with some SAR volunteers to share with the public on how they would like you to be prepared in addition to our messaging. We're going to invite Avalanche Canada come on to share some of their industry cousin perspectives. We have one of our programs out of 5 is a snow safety education program specifically to backcountry. And it's an awesome program. So a lot like what we were just talking about is to be safe out there in the winter, microspike, snowshoes, crampons. This really delves into that because we just talk about backcountry travel in the winter, on foot. We're going to have a snowmobile webinar that we're going to bring a special guest in because we know that the largest group that ask for search and rescue in the winter are snowmobilers, specifically in the East Kootenays that affect Revelstoke search and rescue. So we can, based on that data, we can jump right into the weeds like that and say, hey, this is where the calls are coming from. This is who it affects. So let's do our best to engage with them and educate them the best we can. So we're going to do that, which is fun. We've done that before. And we're also going to have a couple of subjects come on who have been rescued. Some SAR subjects are willing to share their story, which is so cool. And then our last but not least, March, we're going to have Will Gadd, who's an excellent public speaker, outdoor enthusiast and advocate, risk management guru. come on and talk about lessons learned and how do we survive out there and be safe. So those are a few things. We're going to work on some podcasts. Yeah, we've got lots for you coming up.
That's awesome. There's so much there. It sounds like webinars, website. There's an app. You can request in-person presentations. Let people know where they can get in on all of this.
You got it. So nationally, head over to the website, right? It's just a wealth of information. AdventureSmart.ca will get you to the programs. You can book them right there. The Trip Plan app is free and available from there as well. That allows you to file all of your information, send it off to an emergency contact, and then they will use that if they need to call for help and transfer it to police. It goes to SAR from there. Website's a great one-stop shop. For provincial BC AdventureSmart information, which is all connected to national, head over to any of our socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and that's BC AdventureSmart. You'll find us at BC AdventureSmart. All the same handle at all of those. And then because this is who we're supported by, it's really who I work for directly, the BC Search and Rescue Association.com, bcsara.com, has an awesome outdoor education page. It talks about those 3 T's. It talks about the STOP analogy and what to do in an emergency. Stop, think, observe, plan, communications, cell phones, events, and everything's linked from there. All of our videos that we've ever recorded and webinars and special events are all linked there. So BC Search and Rescue Association's website under the outdoor education page. That's a lot to collect of all that information, but it's all there for you.
And it'll be easy and clickable and linkable on the podcast notes, of course. Check that out. Just a huge thank you to BC Search and Rescue Association, of course, and to yourself, Sandra Riches. Huge thank you to all of you listening. Shout out to race volunteers everywhere and search and rescue volunteers everywhere. And until next time, I'm Adam Lee, and this is Community Trail Running.